Live from ABC 57 studios and broadcast all across Michiana. This is ABC 57 News 19. It's been.
If you're just now watching and tuning in, ABC 57 News on the CW25 beginning right now, but we've been covering severe weather since almost 8 o'clock this evening, since before 8 o'clock. And here we are now, kind of on the backside of this, and I'm starting to give most people the all clear. Berrien, Cass, St. Joseph County, Michigan, LaPorte County, St. Joseph County, Indiana, and yes, even Elkhart County and LaGrange County, you're pretty much done of that severe threat. So that is the good news I have for you. Look at the last 3 hours. This was nothing over the lake, and then this storm just erupted over Elkhart County, and very impressive move through there. And I want to take a look at the current lightning right now. So still a very strong storm that we've seen, but this is the newest warning right now from the Culver area to Monterey, almost into Richland Center and Lighters Ford. Along this line, there could be wind up to, say, 60 miles per hour. Now, one little concern I have here is there's a little bit of a notch in towards the Argus area. Not under a warning there, but it's always a little concerning whenever you kind of see a notch. Not seeing anything as far as anything concerning on velocity, but I just saw that, and again, I wanted to kind of keep an eye on things as it moves through. Here's the storm track of this line. Wind gusts in front of it up to 60 miles per hour, some heavy rain and some lightning. We'll move Richland Center, 10:06, Mentone at 10:11, Warsaw, 10:13, Claypool at 10:20, Akron, 10:23. So that puts it into the Rochester area by 10:20-ish. So this one line that we continue to watch, good number of lightning strikes. Again, kind of my bellwether here is how many lightning strikes is this line producing. At one point, this was at about 100 or so here, and this is what we're at 199. So it's maintained, maybe increased the number of lightning strikes, which means this line may still be gaining some strength. So if you're in the Rochester area, Mentone, stand by. Again, this can still produce some good wind within this 30 minutes of news that we'll continue to track here. Severe thunderstorm watch, the warning pretty much now clear, and then you can see the Rochester area there. We've had a scattering of storm reports that can still fill in because, well, the storms are just now ending. Most people don't report the storm reports until maybe a few hours or even tomorrow morning after a lot of that damage is reported. But this is the current radar picture right now. I want to continue with our team coverage tonight, where we are now clear of storms in South Bend and Mishawaka. In Mishawaka is ABC 57's Morgan Clark with more. What's it like there, Morgan?
Well, Tom, things have cleared up. On my way over here, it was kind of downpouring, and as I got closer to the river, it was a little soggy there. But where I am now in Mishawaka, it's more of a residential area on Miami Club Drive and Linden Ave. And I'll have you take a look here behind me. They brighten things up here. So we had crews just kind of left here to clear out the road, but there was a tree that fell. And if you can take a look behind that cautionary barrier there, that is actually a car that is underneath the green branches there. If it can brighten that up a little bit more. But so if you are parked under a tree, I highly recommend not doing so in severe weather like this, because things like that can happen. Now, things are looking pretty clear out here in Mishawaka. We got some spectacular lightning shows down to our south, but for the most part in St. Joseph County, in this region, South Bend and Mishawaka, things are looking clear. We are seeing some damage as well as this fallen tree. We are seeing some reports of that throughout St. Joseph County. So going to want to keep an eye on that, as well as keeping an eye on this as well. But for now, reporting live in Mishawaka, I'm Morgan Clark, ABC 57 News.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Morgan, for also staying late and, again, kind of going with our team coverage side across the area. We still have one active warning from the Culver area through Rochester, wind up to 60 miles per hour. Most of this storm threat that was so intense across Elkhart County is now clear. So we only have one real warning for our area now. I know technically Kosciuszko County lit up. It's not Kosciuszko County. It's this threat right here that still maintains. Good number of lightning strikes. What I want to show you here, This storm erupted over Berrien County and then moved southward over Elkhart County, where it really was the area in the path of the storm. We saw some great pictures from the mobile weather tracker. We're going to continue with our team coverage tonight with ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Still in the mobile weather tracker tonight. And Dave, it was a wild and even dicey ride for about 30 minutes there in Elkhart County.
Yeah, and I mean, it's lessened up a little bit, Tom, but really not by much. There's still some intense areas of downpours and constant lightning all around us. It's really something to behold, and we've even got some areas of hail. It hasn't been over the last 15 minutes or so, but we have seen at least some small hail at points in our drive, I would say over the last 20 or 30 minutes. But really, as we travel up 33 here in Elkhart County, we just passed Benton Township. We just actually passed the Goshen Municipal Airport, so that's where things were intense when we came to you last. But we were looking at a good amount of damage on 33 here, a good amount of trees down, not just tree limbs, but in some places entire trees on the side of the road. So as we make our way a little bit closer to Goshen, we'll get an idea of exactly oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys can see this, but that was an anvil crawler there, that lightning. That is absolutely spectacular to behold. But the lightning is still intense at this point. And you can actually see on the side of the road there are some trees down, some tree limbs, a lot of debris, leaf debris in the roadways, and this is a major road right here, 33, as we continue to travel north. So we're still seeing, we're still getting a sense of the extent of the damage because there's really not a lot of light out there right now, except for the lightning that might be striking at times. And we're slowing down here on the side of the road. It looks like there might be some damage to a structure on the side of the road here on 33. Forgive me for stumbling just a little bit. I'm just trying to gauge the sense of how intense this went through here with 60 to 70, even above 70 mile per hour winds possible. So we're continuing to track this as the rain is lessening up, and hopefully we'll give you a better sense of any more damage that we see. But for now, live in Elkhart County, meteorologist Dave Caulfield with ABC 57 News.
Thank you so much, Dave, for your work tonight and your travel through Elkhart County, helping to confirm where that damage is. He was seeing, again, it's still a lot of lightning across portions of Elkhart County. That anvil crawler he's talking about, that's from the top of the storm. A lot of lightning lighting up the top of the storm. Still one severe thunderstorm warning that we're tracking from Richland Center down towards the Rochester area. Update on that, again, into the Akron and Rochester area by about 10:20 with wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. But still, again, a good number of lightning strikes out there that these or that wind may have been knocking out power across the area. We continue to team coverage tonight. Tim and Tiffany are in with the latest on those numbers. Guys.
Well, Tom, as you've been saying, there's a lot of lightning going on, a lot of damage going on, and that's affecting power in a lot of houses. I&M just sent an update minutes ago. More than 12,000 I&M customers are out of power right now, the hardest hit in Michigan.
Yeah, and we saw a light show here at the studios out well. These are a look at the current widespread power outages across our area. You can see in LaGrange County, 3,266 people are without power. And in Cass County, this is the biggest number we've seen as far as outages, 4,506 people. And up in Berrien County, we're seeing 3,243 people without power as this storm has moved across Michiana.
So definitely you want to stay inside, stay safe. If you have a vehicle also, or if you have a phone, keep it charged or try not to use it too much just in case you see some power outages in your area.
And we did speak with I&M officials earlier. They told us that they will be out working 24/7 to fix these power outages. They'll also keep an outage map updated on their website. So if you need to, just check out I&M for an update on when your power will be restored.
So, Tom, Where are we at right now with the storms?
We're almost clear. Again, the worst is over. There still is an active warning for Fulton County right now, but we're all clear across St. Joseph County, Elkhart County, besides some lightning that continues to sink southward. Still good lightning show across Marshall County. Again, if you're Rochester to Mentone, some strong wind may be working in here. We may see a warning here for Etna Green, Mentone for the southern portion, may fill in this gap here for Kosciuszko County. So just stand by if you are in Fulton or the southern half of Kosciuszko County. You're still going to see a line that's going to move through here. And here's the estimate on that timeline into the Claypool area by about 10:19. So Rochester momentarily as well. Still a good number of lightning strikes. But as far as active warnings, only one real warning active at this time, and that's the Fulton County warning across the area. I want to talk a little bit about storm damage. Reports are going to kind of trickle in a little bit later because things are delayed because it's now getting dark across the area. But up across portions of St. Joseph County, Michigan, a wind report earlier this evening around 8:13 of 73 miles per hour. This was a very intense part of a cell that eventually weakened over LaGrange County. We continue our team coverage tonight near Jones, Michigan, so near this exact spot, with ABC 57's Naja Woods with more damage there. Naja.
That's right. I'm in Jones, Michigan. Outside of the EMS/fire department, there isn't much damage that I saw around here. However, there was damage when I was driving up here along M60 right near Dutch Settlement Road. And as we can get the video up here, you saw a lot of downed tree limbs. They were covering the road, a lot of trees and those tree limbs, making the roads impassable. I had to turn around myself, and so did several other people. As you can see, there were a lot of tree limbs, so really be careful when you're out there and don't try to pick them up yourself. I did see several crews already out on the roads trying to clean up some of those limbs, so again, be careful. There were, I counted, at least 4 or 5 down tree limbs, so again, just be really careful when you're out there. And we'll check back in with me later, but for now, reporting live in Jones, Michigan, Naja Woods, ABC 57 News.
That was the early part of the storm, around 7:45 to 8:15, and there's still a number of those reports. Here's the Marcellus area. There's that Dutch Settlement Road right there. So Naja, right in the heart of where we started our coverage, around 7:45 this evening. But the good news is that most of this severe weather is beginning to wind down. We're going to be back with more news in just a moment, but let's take one more look at the ABC 57 First Running Neighborhood Mobile Weather Tracker, moving back into the streets of Goshen, where things are much quieter this evening. We'll be right back.
Live from ABC 57 Studios and broadcast all across Michiana with Tiffany Salome, Tim Spears, and Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs. This is ABC 57 News 19. Inflation is...
An alleged group of rogue cops known as the Wolverines existed inside the Elkhart Police Department for years. This is Keith Cooper after accepting an historic multi-million-dollar settlement after being a target, allegedly, of the Wolverines. And as I report, his lawyers now believe because of the Wolverines, Elkhart could become the exoneration capital of the U.S.
I was just told stories about it.
Issues as far as excessive force, brutality.
Everybody deserves justice.
They would lie, cheat, defraud,
and systemic misconduct existed.
Do we want to keep digging things up?
I always questioned everything.
I think I'm done.
Raise your right hand.
This is former Elkhart Police Chief James J. Ivory testifying in a sworn deposition.
I do.
This testimony is the first known record of a former or current Elkhart City official admitting to the existence of an all-white group of rogue cops inside the Elkhart Police Department that targeted minority neighborhoods for years.
Did you come to learn of a group of officers in the Elkhart Police Department who call themselves the Wolverines?
Yes.
Members of the Wolverines have been implicated in violating the constitutional rights of citizens in the Elkhart community, and predominantly citizens of color.
Elliot Slosser is an attorney who has investigated wrongful conviction cases in Elkhart for nearly 15 years. He's part of the Notre Dame Exoneration Justice Clinic, which uncovered the existence of the Wolverines.
Should people question what law enforcement have done in Elkhart over the past 3 decades? Of course.
You can hear him in this deposition questioning the former police chief.
The Elkhart Police Department by 1990 had a reputation for brutality against people of color. Is that fair?
Yes.
This deposition is part of recent legal action to overturn the murder conviction of Iris Seabolt, who was investigated by members of the Wolverines. Court filings in the Seabolt case describe the Wolverines as a white supremacist group targeting people of color in South Central Elkhart in the 90s.
Some of the members used the N-word when they didn't know I was around. Of course, as soon as they saw me when I walked around the corner, the conversation ceased.
Keith Cooper was put in jail by Steve Rizutko, identified by at least one former Elkhart police officer as a Wolverine, according to court records. Cooper was sentenced to 40 years in prison, convicted for a 1996 robbery where a teenager was shot. Cooper's attorneys accused Rizutko of manipulating witnesses with suggestive lineups, withholding evidence which could have kept Cooper out of prison, and deliberately creating false evidence and witness statements. Rizutko later resigned from the Elkhart Police Department following an internal investigation finding Rizutko had paid informants for sexual acts. He died by suicide shortly after learning about the Cooper case being reopened.
Nobody was like, hey, let's go look into those cases and see if the people who are still in prison every day should really have a shot at justice.
Keith Cooper spent more than 7 years in prison before new DNA evidence and eyewitness testimony from the victim saying he didn't commit the crime led to his release. Governor Eric Holcomb granted a pardon in 2017. Then, last month, the city of Elkhart paid an historic $7.5 million wrongful conviction settlement, the largest in Indiana history, according to the University of Michigan Law School Exoneration Registry. The second suspect in the case, Chris Parrish, saw his attempted murder and robbery conviction dismissed because of new DNA evidence and testimony, which led to a $4.9 million payout after a jury had found Rizutko deprived his constitutional right to a fair trial. At least 9 former Elkhart police officers have been implicated as Wolverines in recent court filings.
The question shouldn't just be who was a part of it and what did they do. Another question should be who knew about it and why didn't they stop it.
During his deposition, former Elkhart Police Chief J.J. Ivory identified 3 men he knew as Wolverines. Bruce Davidson, a Fraternal Order of Police president who went on to rob 24 banks through 11 states, landing him on the FBI's most wanted list. Steve Ambrose, an officer involved in the 1995 killing of Derek Connor, which led to citywide protests. And Ed Winbigler, who went on to become the Elkhart Chief of Police.
They would all stick together, and regardless on whatever the issue might be, made me feel they would lie, cheat, defraud, or whatever it took to uphold their cause.
When Ivory took over as chief in 1990, he had a mission to change the culture inside the Elkhart Police Department.
Issues as far as excessive force, brutality, because of the Wolverines and the various divisions within the department, it was necessary for me to know who I could trust, who I couldn't trust, and to make sure that they were in fact abiding by our rules
People wrote in to the Elkhart Truth, accusing officers of taking prisoners to the city dumping ground for interrogation. Fed up with the way Elkhart police treated the South Side, a 1992 arrest at the Washington Gardens public housing complex ended with as many as 200 neighbors throwing rocks and bottles at officers.
It was a very volatile time, and emotions were running rather rapid and rather high.
Over the years, the Elkhart Police Department has kind of taken it on the chin a few times.
Chris Seymour took over as chief in 2020 under similar circumstances as Ivory, tasked with changing the culture of the Elkhart Police Department.
Now I looked at it as an opportunity to steer the boat in not so calm waters.
Seymour became chief after EPD faced a 97-page report from the Police Executive Research Forum, commissioned as a response to this video. 2 Elkhart police officers beating a man handcuffed to a chair. The incident led to then Elkhart Police Chief Ed Windbigler to resign. Windbigler, one of the alleged members of the Wolverines, identified by J.J. Ivory, a group Seymour says he never encountered in more than 2 decades with the Elkhart Police Department.
Had you ever heard about it?
I'd heard stories.
What'd you hear?
Same thing you're saying. So, yeah, we'll stay away from that one.
Protect and serve shouldn't be just a slogan. It should be something that they can feel.
Elkhart Mayor Rod Robertson admits changing the culture inside the department and building trust with the community is no small task.
When you did hear about an officer or any of the police department being heavy-handed in one way, shape, or form, it reverberated inside of the community.
The department followed suggestions from the PERF report to update its use of force. Every officer is now outfitted with body cameras and squad car cameras, and EPD has created an online reporting system for the public. The stats suggest there has been significant progress. According to the Elkhart Police Department, criminal arrests in 2021 jumped 46% from the year prior, while use of force dropped, and complaints on officers went down by nearly a third.
There's no finish line. It's an ongoing process for us. We're constantly evaluating and reevaluating everything that we do.
This new administration with the mayor and Chief Seymour is a bright light in an otherwise dark system of injustice. And I hope that the chief and the mayor continue taking efforts to fix things moving forward.
But Chief Seymour didn't appreciate the line of questioning regarding the Wolverines.
Do we want to keep, digging things up, or do we want to acknowledge that maybe mistakes were made or procedures were not in place to effectively do things, and now we have them in place and we're doing things what we think is right?
He made it clear past misconduct isn't something he's focused on.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Well, and just to clarify, I mean, you're saying it's past, but Cooper was in jail up until
I don't want to live in the past. Okay? I can't answer for what people did 30 plus years ago.
So what is being done today for people put in prison by members of the Wolverines? And if there was a pattern of misconduct, what is being done to investigate possible wrongful convictions for people still sitting in prison? Nothing.
Do you believe that the city should review any cases involving officers that were implicated in potential misconduct?
Not my job.
The city, county, and Elkhart Police Department all said they will not reopen cases or review past convictions that involved officers responsible for any of Elkhart's growing list of wrongful convictions. Elliot Slosser wants to see an independent prosecutor appointed.
to review potential cases of past misconduct, specifically involving members of the Wolverines.
We're not counting on a system that has protected itself for 30 years to somehow say, oh, we're going to do things the right way and look backwards.
Everybody deserves justice. That's what I would tell you. And nobody deserves to have their character assassinated because they made mistakes or whatever. They answer for their individual stuff, and it's nobody else's to answer for. I don't have a time machine. I can't go back and fix all this.
My job is to move forward. My job is to make sure that the administration that I have and the police chief that I have is applying the law appropriately. We will be there to assist whatever we are asked to assist in, but it's not our job and nor my administration to investigate past administrations or past police chiefs or any of those things. It's not my job.
There are 2 pending federal civil rights lawsuits from overturned convictions that could lead to more settlements.
And there are 3 pending post-conviction cases that could lead to more exonerations.
While the city and county both said they won't proactively review cases involving officers who are members of the Wolverines or have a history of misconduct on the job, both said they would comply with any court orders or legal action that comes their way.
And Elliot Schlosser tells ABC 57 News, in all, there may be as many as a dozen cases filed to overturn potential wrongful convictions. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. The severe threat pretty much coming to an end. What I do want to show you is the temperatures for tomorrow, which warm up into the 90s across the area, pushing 100. So our storm threat is ending, but our heat threat is just beginning. Typically, we think, oh, the rain came, relief from the heat. That is not the case. There is a excessive heat warning for the entire area for tomorrow. So we change from severe weather now to heat. And heat can be even more deadly than storms in many cases. We underestimate it a lot, and it can build on you because if you don't cool down the body, especially with these kind of conditions pushing 100 and the heat index near 110, if you don't have air conditioning, this isn't a serious situation. Consider cooling shelters, going someplace to cool down just for a few hours. Give your body a little bit of relief, as we could have record-setting heat, likely a record-breaking high and warm low over the next couple of days, including Tuesday and Wednesday.
Hard-working guy.
Hardest
This
working
Tom
man,
Coombs.
Michiana. Thanks for joining us for Night Team at 10. Y'all have a great evening.